Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing about brand concept. So a little bit about the business model. So what does brand concept do? Brand concepts at the end of the day, let's say if there is a really great brand, right? They take the acquisition, they acquired the brand for licensing purposes. In the sense like they take care of the entire value chain process where they design the bag, develop the bag, they take the license to put up the stores for these brands and sell it. And in turn, they give a certain percentage of sales or royalty to the brands. This is what brand concept does, and they are mainly involved in like selling bags, right? Especially if you talk about bags, the travel bags that are there, the travel gears, and they have three important brands in their portfolio: Tommy Hilfiger, United Colors of Benetton, and Aeropostale, right? So what do for these brands? They design, develop the product, and they have the license to sell and put up the stores, right? So this is what brand concepts does. Now, starting off where we left off last quarter, if you look at last quarter, we saw that the company had done exceptionally well, right? Usually it has been the track record of the company where they, under promise and over deliver. And if you see, even in this quarter also, they have done the same thing, right? If you look at the numbers has been exceptional. You will see that the revenue has been up 53% on a year-on-year basis, and on a quarter-on-quarter basis, it has been up 18%. If you look at the PAT also has been up 22% on a year-on-year basis and 18.5% on a QOQ basis. Now, one of the reasons why you do not see an operating leverage is because, see, brand concepts is a very small company, and the company has been very vocal about the fact that whatever money they want to make, they want to use it in their expansion operations, either in putting up more stores, or the second in terms of promotional and advertising, right? Because they have to bring about brand awareness. That is one thing they've been doing about. And I think somewhere between this quarter and last quarter, we've seen that they've done a lot of ad campaigns, especially with Arjun Rampal, right? That actor. They've done a lot of these campaigns, and it is quite visible there, right? So that is why you do not see an operating leverage. Now let us go deep and understand what has been happening with the company. First, let's talk about the merger, right? They were acquiring this company called IFF. Earlier also, this was there even last quarter. So what had happened with IFF was, IFF is a contract manufacturing company. So unlike brand concepts, where brand concepts is involved with everything, right? Design, development, and distribution of the bags and putting up stores. IFF is involved only with manufacturing, and just they'll probably manufacture, sometimes probably they'll even design, and they will sell it to the brand, and the brand will sell it under their name. So one of the reasons that brand concepts wanted to do was, they wanted to have a backward integration, like they want to have their own manufacturing plant. That is another thing. The other reason is also because they wanted to start their own line called PMS, that is called Product Management Service. Now, what does this mean? Let's say there are many brands. Let's say I own a brand. Now I know how to do the entire retail part. Okay, like I can put up stores, I can do the branding and everything. The entire front end part when it comes to selling, that I'm okay with. But there is a back end part, right, where you involve, where you have to design the product, you have to look at the trends and everything, and take care of the entire manufacturing process, the back end work. This is where a lot of brands are struggling, to come up with a creative new idea, new back end design and everything. So and brand concept sees a lot of opportunity here going forward, especially in a lot of Chinese companies. So this is where they're targeting, one of the reasons why they want to acquire IFF. And if you look at it, like when this acquisition and everything will happen, when it happens, it will be updated on the exchange, right? And you will know about it. But the entire acquisition is happening, like if you look at in detail, if you look at the share swap ratio that is happening, they're doing it in like 1:3.5 or 3.6. So for every one share that IFF gets of brand concepts will get 3.5 to 3.6 shares of IFF. So this is all about acquisition. And even in terms of like why this acquisition is so important for brand concepts, if you look at the CEO, the founder, Abhinav Kumar, he keeps constantly talking about the fact that, see, I'm a retail guy, I'm involved with retail, I know how to get the brand up, like how to work with the brand and everything. That is something I know, and I'm very strong at it. But I do not understand a manufacturing process. I do not have a team for that. Now, here is the thing: I can go forward and put up this whole manufacturing thing. Learn from project, learn from ground, learn from zero, and get it started, and like spend a lot of time there, or acquire a team that is already good at it, acquire a company that is already good at it, and then immediately start with it and learn from them. So that is why they want to do it. They do not want to go along the ground zero and everything and do and do the mistakes and learn. Might as well have like a set team and just acquire it and do. So this is one of the reason, and that with the whole merger and with the whole acquisition. And that's that with IFF merger. Now let's come back. Like I told you, there are three major brands, right? Tommy Hilfiger, UCB, that is United Colors of Benetton, and Aeropostale. Now if you look at Tommy Hilfiger, that has been their major brand. Like last year it was contributing around 85% of the sales, and this year it has been around 75 to 80%. So overall, you can see that the dependence on Tommy has been coming, it has been less. And they introduced two new brands, UCB and Aeropostale, and I think they went live just last quarter only, certain backpacks and small leather goods. Even right now, if you look at it, UCB and Aeropostale is a very small digit number, like hardly 3%, single digit. It is contributing to the overall revenues. Going forward, it could, of course, it will be better. Now there is a reason why they're doing it, is because it's not just Tommy. They do not want to have dependence on one brand. Right? It makes sense, because tomorrow, let's say Tommy Hilfiger doesn't renew the license with brand concepts, then what happens? The entire company will go down the drain, right? So that is one of the reasons why they're more focused on adding more and more brands. And last time they told they have few brands along in the pipeline for this year, but apparently it has not gone through the deal, because the entire process of making this deal is very tedious. It's not something like you go whoosh and come back, right? So the management has told probably we can see it next year or next financial year. That is something that they've been working on. Other than that, if you look at the revenue split, like I told you, even right now 75 to 80% is coming from Tommy Hilfiger, then 3% here and there is coming from UCB and Aeropostale, and the other is coming from the other small leather goods. Now, not only just that, if you look at the revenue split in terms of every product category, 60 to 65% is coming from travel gears. Travel gears means what? The suitcase and luggage that is there. Around 10 to, I think, less than 10% is coming, sub 10% is coming from handbags, and the rest is coming from small leather goods. When you talk about small leather goods, it is wallet and belts, and other categories. But here is the thing: belt seems to be doing very well compared to small leather goods such as wallet, because you see, right, in today's day and age, I think you all can relate to this, is we use a lot of digital payments. We use Google Pay, Phone Pay, and all this, or cards, right? So usually that entire, earlier how there was this craze to have a really good wallet in pocket, that craze has gone, and it has been declining, and it is something even brand concepts is not really trying hard to do, because even they understand the trend. And this is something, it how do I put this, it is neither a declining market nor it is something a growing market. It is somewhere in between, right? So this is something where, again, they're also not very much focused on, like, they're taking care of how it is and where it is. Now the other category that is there, yeah, I have a small note here, but anyways, the other category that is there is the handbags. When you talk about it, in handbag section also, now it is a very, how do I put this? It is something, a very interesting prospect for brand concepts. But having said that, here also, if you look at it, there is different category. Now there is one category where the bag retails from like 1,000 to 1,500, from that range to until, let's say, max 3,000. This is where there's a lot of bloodbath. There's a lot of competition. Many unorganized, how to tell, unorganized market is way more competitive compared to, let's say, organized. And like I told you, it is something. This is where brand concept doesn't want to work at all. This is somewhere they're trying to exit also. Actually, even if you look at their own brand, Sugar Rush, it trades somewhere between this only, somewhere between 1,500 to 3,000, and until 6,000, that range. And this is even Abhinav Kumar has been very how do I tell you, very honest about the fact that it's literally a bloodbath. They're burning cash in this segment, and it's just not working, right? This is something even they've been told. When they talk about handbags going forward, right, in terms of handbags, where they're concentrated on, like I told you, handbags right now are contributing to like sub 10% of the category. So if they want to take it, let's say, more than that, which category they want to focus on is, like I told you, first is the 1,500 to 3,000 category, where there is immense competition and a lot of brands and unorganized market. The second is, let's say, from 3,000 to 6,000, where of course competition is there, but relatively less to the latter. Then after that, you have the upper range, right? Like say 10,000 to 15,000, that brands. This is a brands where there is the whole play of happening from bridge to luxury, right? Because after 15,000, like greater than 15,000, if you go, these are the brands such as Prada and like other expensive brands such as Gucci and everything, which goes like exorbitant brands. These are luxury brands. Now let's say there is bridge to luxury brand which comes around that 10,000 to 20,000, 15,000 categories, such as Michael Kors and Coach. This is where they're trying to try to get the brands. This is where they want to work on if they go in future, if they want to like do the handbags, because other than that, it is not fruitful. And they are also been very, how do I put this? They have also been like very uh, um sharp on the fact that, like if they ever do it, it will be in this category and no other category at all. Because if you look at right now, right, if you look at their travel gears, which is a huge part of their revenue, around 60 to 65%, most of them are bridge to luxury only. Like Tommy Hilfiger is a bridge to luxury kind of category, like a premium category, I would say. And right now UCB that they have, that is like a mass premium category, right? Because if you see even UCB ka goods, also a lot of goods you get like subpar like 3,000 bucks, especially the small leather goods. That is why, they do not want to like focus more over there and like focus more on this travel gear and, like a lot in the premium, like bridge to luxury category, right? So that's about the handbags, and that is where they're focusing on. Other than that, of course, the last thing remains in the store expansion. I believe they have opened around 36 stores, I believe. Let me just get the numbers, exact numbers. um yeah. Yeah, so they added 6 stores in H1s, in this financial year of H1, and the total store count is 36 stores. So going forward, let's say they want to take it up to 100 stores in, let's say, 2.5 years. And even if I take conservatively like around 3 years, right? Because the store expansion rate comes up to 40% CAGR, which is good. I mean, that is what they're even targeting also, like 500 crore revenue in the next 3 to 4 years. That is what they've always been telling. And even if you take that, it comes up to 30 to 35% CAGR, and overall even this gives you around 40% CAGR. So store expansion comes in track. Why am I taking conservatively 3 years? Is because, like I told you, right, these people are focusing on this bridge to luxury, right? And here, if you want to open a store, you have to open in a premium location, right? Not like you can't just open like randomly anywhere. And so most of these stores that they open are in, let's say, branded, like I wouldn't say branded, but it's in malls. And here, it all depends on the mall owner, right? Sometimes they can renew the lease. Sometimes, they can just ask you to shut down, because if they get a greater offer, a greater brand in their mall, they can ask you to vacate also. So it's a very tricky thing. And usually you'll always have to like look into where new malls are opening, because it is easier for you to get a store in a new mall versus, let's say, an already existing mall, because there you'll always have to wait like, कौन वहां से vacate करे so that I will get a space. So that is the reason I've been taking conservatively 3 years. And you saw that even last time, right? Last quarter is they had one of the stores in Quest Mall in Calcutta, and they had to close that mall because they the owner of mall didn't allow them to continue the lease. Didn't renew the contract. So that is where it gets only tricky here with store expansion. That is where it can falter. But having said that, until now they were doing this all coco stores. Going forward, when you talk about this 100 stores that they want to put, they're planning somewhere between like probably either 50 coco, 50 franchise, or it could be like 40-60 or 60-40 something. Because if they are opening, let's say, in a mall, in a T1, in a premium place, that is where they want to open a coco store. But let's say if it's a T2, T3 cities, if they want to open, then they want to go ahead and do a franchise store, because let's say those people understand the geography and the people over there way better than, let's say, the management of the company. So this is the whole store expansion card thing. Other than that, there is nothing to talk about. All is well, all is good with the company. We continue to track the company and see. Yeah, the last thing I would want to put is, like I told you, Tommy Hilfiger ka, like I told, they contribute around 75% to 80% to the brand, to the revenue. Now Tommy ka, how do I put you, the license ka renewal is up in December. Now, according to the management, everything is on talks. They're just waiting ki, like, in the printed format to come, like just official documentation to happen. And when and where it happens, they will put it up on the exchange. Other than that, nothing. Only thing to be highlighted was, they told that in like October, May, like right now you will see their offline is also increasing, right? Like if you, I think earlier they had the online ka share a lot more, like the sales coming from online, but now online has dropped to 44%, and offline is also taking a lot of presence. Now, if you look at here, they've been telling you like October, May, like especially in terms of offline, the sales has not been great, because one of the reasons was like delayed festivities. That is a story with any consumer thing, right? You've seen that. And of course the prolongated ashada or shad, We saw that. The other thing was, the funny thing was, usually people do shopping a lot more on the weekends, right? And in the October month, especially in the October month, what had happened, there was a lot of World Cup matches in the October and November. And as a result, and especially India was playing only on the weekdays, right? As a result, the footfall in the stores were very less. So October has been a bit of a lull period. But having said that, I think, still November would be great because of a lot of festivities we saw, Diwali and everything. So I think Q3 overall general, it's something to wait and watch and see. Of course, the trajectory that they have been growing is absolutely amazing. And let's see, hopefully they continue to do what they do. And our job as investors is just to continue to track the business, right? Overall, nothing to complain with brand concepts, just absolutely nothing. Everything is great if you look at it: sales, bottom line, the expansion rate that is happening, the acquisition with brands, the merger. All in all, great company, nothing to complain as of now. Let's just wait and see, how things pan out in Q3. So that's it about brand concepts. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.